JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Monday, June 9th, 314. Talk really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P in the green, up about 0.25% here. Uh, in the choppy session, tight trading range, 0.46% or so trading range. So good stuff. Some consolidation, and maybe that'll set things up for all-time highs in the next coming sessions. I don't know if it'll be this week. Who knows? It'll be next week, but you have to think we can consolidate here. I think it'll bode well. Just things to note here: the upper Bollinger Band 601.70. We came all the way up to 601.25 this morning on the SPY. So another day or two to see those Bollinger Bands spread. They're actually kind of tight right now. If you take a look at the SPY chart, I don't know if I pasted in the room. The VIX was green for the entire day, despite the market rally. And I think more of that's a function of where the VIX has been and where it is right now, and it's under 17. So probably not putting on the pay no mind list, but probably like a somewhat of a non-event here. And then yields, which slightly lower, slightly higher, nothing much to share here. I do apologize for this morning. I thought CPI data for some reason was tomorrow morning. It's actually Wednesday morning. Thanks for folks pointing that out, correcting it. Definitely the biggest piece of data, biggest catalyst this week outside of possible headlines, right? Who knows when there might be US-China headlines from their meeting in London. You have POTUS speaking right now, which is pretty much a roundtable. Michael Dell, you have Solomon, Goldman Sachs. They're just talking about various little investments and things like that. So nothing crazy so far. I'm sure after that little roundtable, POTUS tends to make some comments. So I don't know if he's going to make comments around Japan or what have you. Oh, and then tomorrow after the close, we got GameStop earnings more towards the end of the week. Oracle, Adobe. So I don't know that that's going to do too much here with the markets, but good sign here. Hopefully, be a good sign if we can close over 600 today. Probably more chop tomorrow, and then maybe we can start to inch our way towards all-time highs. I was talking about this morning, 604. That's a big spot on the SPY we hit in February and December. So if we do get up to that, that's probably going to be some huge resistance, and then blue skies, right? New highs typically beget new highs, less resistance, churn through all the sellers, and well, not all of them, but there's less sellers as we get higher, right? I mean, people have had their chance, and unless there's some kind of event, you would think that's the path of least resistance. All right, that's that. Oh, also, I think today I got to check the updated GDP numbers. So, all right, so now just individual names, and thankfully some names are, I call it harvest day, right? When you hold in positions and they finally get to the point you can lock some in. And typically when I get a position, I'm hopeful. I'm looking to get some out soon, right? I'm not typically I don't get a long-term position. I'll look to close some out to 2 or 3 weeks from now. But unfortunately, sometimes that's how it plays out. Lemonade, I mean, I got the calls, I think pretty much the same time last week. But finally broke through again after its 11% rally on Friday. Another 3% here today. It was actually up near 42. In the early morning, I used someone who moved to close some of my calls out for over 100%. I'll just hold the rest. Again, like I was saying this morning, it's such a highly shorted name. It could be you'd be down 8% tomorrow. No news, no cattle. It's just how it is. But on the flip side, it could be over $50 by the end of the week. So I'm more biased to the latter answer. Right? I think it deserves a heck of a lot higher valuation. And you don't use comparisons. And I was talking about hims and hers. It's one of those names. Well, not in a while, but back when it was $30 and it was on this big run, it was one of those names you saw a lot of people short the name. They used to talk about the algorithms and Facebook not allowing them to advertise around the medical products and their compounded GLP-1 solutions, all those things. And they make these great stories, right? I mean, the fear, uncertainty, doubt stories sometimes are very captivating, and that's why you have a huge short interest. And then it took a while for it to really start to break out. And even when it had some hiccups around the FDA removing the restriction, or at least supposedly there was a shortage for GLP-1 drugs, which allowed the compounded drugs to be sold longer, and then all that kind of got nixed, and now there's deals with some of these larger companies. But anyway, my point is with Lemonade, it's kind of like a similar churn, a huge short interest, all the way up to 50 at the end of last year, then back in the 40s, been chopping around down under into the mid 20s in April, and then it maybe at some point maybe the bear case starts to lose its luster, the bull case, which is if you do any due diligence and you read some of the stuff or watch the videos and see what some folks their bull case on Lemonade, $300, $400 stock, like bags from here. And I'm not, I mean, if that was the case, the stock probably would reflect some of that already. But I think it's a lot because there's more of it's like a tug of war. So hopefully the tug of war pulls those bears over that line. Some of them start to pack it in, and then maybe we could see some upside. And when it happens, probably happen rapidly, similar to what happened to Hims and Hers. So anyway, I'll just continue to hold those 45 strikes to lock some in. And in lieu of adding more, I'll probably just be patient for the severe multi-baggers, which have happened before. W, same thing here. It's actually right at the highest sessions right now, 48.30. It's over the 200-day moving average. Nice multi-day run. I was talking about it. Its earnings mid-May, nice gap, and then it gave it back all the way down to 35. And I'm like, this does not deserve that move that it had. And I don't know if people selling, someone wanted to get out of the position. I don't know. But now it's back rumbling. I think it's 6 days in a row to the upside. Um, I thought 50 plus coming. It looks like maybe before the end of the day, but probably not, probably tomorrow. I'll just continue to hold those June 50s, have plenty of time. I'll probably lock some more in on the way up and then just hold the rest. Just in case you start looking, it gets over 50. That's levels back in January and February. You start 57.50, 58, call me crazy. So that's kind of the Wayfair story, especially if there's some news, right? If there's a trade deal headline, especially around Vietnam, I think that sends it much higher. Other names here, JOBY trading up over its 918 level it hit a couple weeks ago. Like this for double digits. I'm still going to be patient, adding more strikes here. It's almost like the folks digested that the drone executive order on Friday, and now it's like, oh, well, that's a big deal. And anytime they can expedite some of these permits and things that allow them to generate revenues earlier than anticipated, I think that's not baked into the stock. So I really like JOBY here. Calls are back into the green, thankfully, and I'll continue to hold those. Still eyeing VKTX here. I mean, all dipped at the open, doing what it typically does, right? All the way down into the 26s, bounced. Now it's up over $1 since the noon hour. I'll just continue to hold my August strikes, and then I might get some earlier strikes, just to play for a move over $30 or what have you, as I think there might be some just a ramp up before in anticipation of the data. That's VKTX. GameStop, nothing to mention here. I mean, Bitcoin's on a tear here today. Up, was it 4%, 109,000. You would have thought GameStop would be up substantial today. Instead, it was languishing under $30 for most of the day until just recently, and it spiked over $30. Sitting here at the high of the day, 30.33. I'm not going to add anything into the earnings, but I keep saying it. Hold the cash position, continue to raise due offerings to buy Bitcoin, and then the key announcement will be what price did they pay for their first 7,100 coins. That's GameStop. Other names disappointing this morning. Intuitive Surgical wasn't on like my main streamer, and then I'm looking. I'm like, why is this thing down 7%? And then you see it got downgraded. I think it was Deutsche Bank. Like, not one of these firms that and not a downgrade you would think would pressure it so much. And considering the stock was, it hasn't recouped its 2025 level, 620, I think was the handle. So, it was 498. And in hindsight, I should have went back and nibbled at least some spec lottos, but I didn't have enough time to dig. And sure enough, it's back 527. But maybe a name I'll follow you, take a look. It's holding the 200-day moving average at 526. So maybe this has some continuation. And also has tight Bollinger Bands. So, I mean, if you followed Intuitive Surgical over the years and the many splits and the thousands of percent it's gained, there's always been bearish analysts that at some point just created buying opportunities, right? So I'm not saying this definitely is a buying opportunity, but definitely, certainly a name I'll be watching tomorrow for some follow through. If the premiums come down on the calls, I might look for some strikes to play for a move over 550. That's that. Still eyeing Serve. SCRV is the ticker. Weak session here today. Yeah, I'm not certainly not gonna, maybe if there's weakness again tomorrow, we'll see. It actually bounced off the 1240 lows here, but still a name I'm watching. Yes, Universal Display. I was watching that one too, looking to get some 160. I think it was 165 strikes after Goldman Spectacular put it on their conviction buy list. But the spreads are wide, liquidity's tough, and then sure enough, here it is up another 5%, right near multi-month highs, almost at 2025 highs. I don't know if I'm going to continue to watch that one. I don't want to be in a spot, especially with the liquidity that I get in, and then I can't exit if there's a downgrade or some kind of catalyst. So I'll just sit on the sidelines there. Still eyeing Roku here. I mean, I almost just grabbed some before. I was looking, June 85s are kind of inexpensive. Well, they're 77, 78 cents, I think they are right now. Let's see. I didn't even pull those up. Those look attractive on the risk reward. Actually, they're 85 by 88. I don't know if I would get those. If I did get some strikes, maybe some Julys. I know that's crazy, but the hundreds and like the thought process there is if it gets over 85, those in a matter of a week or two, the hundreds are going to be a double. So that'd be kind of, and then I have to check the earnings to see if that encompasses earnings. I think that's it, folks. I don't have much else here to talk about today. As much as I want to be aggressive adding calls, I'm, the ones I'm looking at, I didn't see any opportunities. Reddit, another one disappointing here today, up in the 120s at the open. It's like, just follow through, and then boom, it just down into broke on the 117 at 230. Definitely a name I'll continue to watch. iRobot, right? I mean, here's a name. I mean, you look at it, the Amazon deal that got nixed by the EU. You would think it, was $40, that there would be some kind of comeback offer from Amazon now that the regulatory environment's kind of much more conducive to a buyout. And then they reported their earnings, the debt issues. They talk strategic alternatives, which typically means bankruptcy, screwing everybody, and then and then it's not good to be good, not good to be a shareholder in a name that has bankruptcy. And then here it is running, and iRobot. Every time I look at it, I want to, I think I'm like, this, it's going to squeeze. And if you know about some of the trades I've done over the years, Sears Holdings used to be a name that was on the cusp, high debt. The former Treasury Secretary used to be the CEO. Forget what Eddie Lampert, and he used to have a huge short interest, right? And I used to trade it because it'd be so volatile that you can make serious coin on calls with no catalyst, right? And it would just be a squeeze. So I would always be watching it. I'm like, oh, here's another squeeze, and I would get calls. And it's similar when I look at iRobot, because it's like it's done it so many times over the past. Like I become trained like a dog, right? Like or whatever you want to call it. So that's why when I look at it, I want to grab some calls, but then it's like I gotta put on my do not trade list for now, because I'll get calls, and then tomorrow it's gonna be under $4 for no other reason, just because, right? And so I'm not gonna trade that one, at least until things get kind of figured out. All right, that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back rock and roll.